Hello there, I'm Black Bright News, aka, well, depending on where you're watching me actually. But I was reading a video, I was watching a video, and it was about a woman who was talking about the single life. And I've written down a few little notes and then I'll just give you my viewpoint on it. Okay, so men are concerned that women do not need them anymore and cannot understand why women are choosing to be single rather than having a man. So, this is what she was kind of saying. This was her kind of intro. Um, the lady was called Super V, and she says she speaks from logic rather than emotions. She says she wants to break it down as to why women are choosing to be single. And she says, from a woman's perspective, she claims she is telling men why women are choosing to be single. She says she goes on to say that when a man mocks women and tells them that they are growing old, they're going to be miserable and lonely, it doesn't help their cause or their case. And she then goes on to talk about men who drop their girlfriends for their male friends to do favors for their friends. And when it's their woman's anniversary or birthday, they forget, but they remember their friend's anniversary. And she said it's easier, it's less stressful and less drama being on your own. She said, how do you bring peace into someone's life? No, this is what I said. She said, all she wants is a man to bring peace into her life. And I was saying, how do you bring peace into someone's life when everyone is so different? There's bound to be stress through indifferences or total differences, learning about each other, that kind of stuff. And then she said that she's successful and she said she's emotionally mature and she owns her own house. She has a good job. She has a nice car. She's emotionally stable. She's healed. And she wants to allow someone in her life who she doesn't want to allow somebody into her life who's going to stress her out and bring drama. She then starts talking about men cheating and women and men who have baby mamas for different women outside the relationship. And she doesn't want to welcome that kind of lifestyle. She then says she will welcome someone into her life as long as they are coming with everything she requires. All seems to be based on what she wants. And I think that is a problem with most relationships, especially where the woman is deemed successful, is beautiful. She doesn't seem to have any need for a man, and she makes it obvious. And that is what men are rejecting. That is what men are rebelling against. What is it? What's in it for them? If you have a woman who has everything and, she's like a trophy, I guess, but she has everything, but she wants you to come with it. And that just brings stress for you, drama for you, headaches for you. What's in it for you? And I think she's looking at it from her perspective, and I can understand that. I can understand her where she's coming from. She's doing well, so she doesn't want any headache. She's so in when I see that, I think to myself, well, why you want to bring a man on board when you're already suggesting that there's no man out there good enough? But then she says there's a few out there. But what has she got to offer them? And I think that is the problem. She is looking at it from the perspective that I'm successful, I'm beautiful, I have my own home, I have my own car, I have my own money. I don't need you to give me money. So what do you need him for? Is it for sex? Is it to have a chat? Is it for company? Then you might as well have a booty call. if you have everything already and you're saying that you love going out with your friends and you've got 3 dogs and you can travel and you can do whatever you want, you have a brilliant job, what do you need him for? Because what happens is when you are in that position, one of superiority, how are you going to treat that person? And then you're already saying in your criteria for a man, you want him to respect you, you want him to understand you, you want him to have compassion. Are you going to be showing him respect when he hasn't got what you've got? Or are you going to talk down to him like you were doing in the video? Thing is with women, they do not realize how they come over. You see, the lady that was speaking, very beautiful, very articulate. And like I said, she's successful and she has everything. But she's saying to men, if you want a woman like me, you've got to bring it on. You have to step up to the plate. But what's in it for the man? Why does he need to step up to the plate? Why? Just because you've got a pretty face? Just because you've got a few bucks? Just because you can look after yourself? And that is what's missing. Men want to be needed. They don't want women who don't need them, where they are superfluous to their requirements, and the slightest little thing they do wrong, they're treated like shit. That's not what men want. They want a fair, even, and balanced relationship, and they cannot have it when women have mentality like that lady. I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm just saying if you have a mentality like that, you need to stick with your own. Stick with your own people. And it does appear, only from what she said in the video, about men cheating and men with baby mamas. I mean, I don't know what type of men she's talking to, because it appears that's what she thinks men who want her are like. And it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up unless she's attracting that type. And sometimes that type looks as though they've got it going on. They have the appearance of wealth, they have the appearance of success, and yet it's new money. They're not coming from anywhere. They've still got their old habits. They're insecure. They need to prove themselves. They need to validate themselves. And they validate themselves by having relationships with other women. People who are unfaithful are trying to meet a need. Everyone wants to be needed. And a lot of relationships, I mean, you do have some people who are just downright out of order. But the majority of people who are unfaithful is because they're trying to meet a need that they don't have in that relationship. That's the only reason. I was watching Love and Lies, and these couples, they thought they had such brilliant relationships. But when push came to shove and they were asking questions, have you ever been unfaithful for the 5 years you've been in a relationship? And they'd say, some of them said yes, and only to find out, oh, it's because you wasn't paying me any attention. You were always out. It was that time when we broke up. But they hadn't mentioned that to the partner before they went on the show. But my point is that when people are unfaithful, like I said, unless they're downright greedy and have no self-restraint and no self-discipline, then most people, when they are unfaithful, it is to fulfill a need. And if that lady has experienced being in relationships where men are unfaithful, it's because probably she is not serving their need. She's like a trophy wife, a trophy girlfriend, or whatever you want to call it. She looks good, nice to have on your hand like a handbag, but not much else. And men are still traditional. Men, even though they can't do it, they still want to provide, they still want to protect. And when you're telling them you don't need that, um, you need them to step up to your plate to be as successful as you are, to have what you have, even though ironically she said he doesn't have to have money because I've got money. I was wondering whether or not she'd want to take on a man who literally doesn't have any money, and would it be enough for him to respect her if she's looking after him? I don't know. Um, what else have I got here? Men are sick and tired of women like her who are attractive and constantly psychologically putting them down because they are not doing as well as they are and they're not needed anymore. So it is more stressful to have a man, and if so, why? She was saying it's really stressful to have a man, and that's because probably when you've been living a life on your own and you have everything and you have everything you need and you can just get up and buy what you want, or you can have what you want delivered. If you want something done, you just pay to have it done, or you know a mate who can do it for you. Yeah, you get a man in your life, and all of a sudden you've got to listen and you've got to acknowledge and you've got to reason and you've got to try to understand, and they're not doing things the way you want them to do it. Yeah, that's going to cause stress. That is going to cause stress. But what's the alternative? The alternative is you keep doing what you're doing. Pay for somebody to come in and do what you need to have done. And it's ironic because it looked like she was, despite saying, oh, I have a great time with girls and we go on trips and we have lunch together and we chat, she was still saying, if you want a woman like me, you've got to step up to the plate. So it looks like even though she has all of that, she still feels as though she's lacking. And she hasn't understood what the deal is, what the situation is. To me, at least, in my opinion, it doesn't seem as though she's taken on any responsibility for herself. Why she's in the situation that she's in. And she will remain in that situation not because there are not men out there who are successful and who do well. It's because in all of her conversation, I didn't hear her once say what she would do for her partner or what she can offer her partner or how she's willing to compromise. It was all about her and what I want, what I've achieved. Who really cares? If you've achieved so much, you can help someone else. You can give somebody a step up. But these people who have achieved and who are successful, they don't want to give anyone a step up. They don't want to give anybody any help. They've arrived, and whoever they meet, they want them to have arrived as well. The problem with how women arrive and how men arrive are totally different. Normally, a woman, because of the opportunities she has, she can probably do it through, a lot of graft and looking good and presenting herself well and being successful in interviews and knowing how to, dazzle her eyelashes and get what she wants. But with a man, it's totally different. Either a man has to have natural talent, be good at sports, be good at singing, um, be skilled, extra skilled in something, and it takes off. And then in that situation, they can make it. But they can't make it in the same way a woman can. But that doesn't mean you look down on them. It doesn't mean that they are less than. But for some reason, when a man doesn't reach where a woman has reached in the same way, the woman will not the man. That's what I'm saying. And that's what it appeared like in this video. Um, what else did I want to say? How many men get the opportunity to do better? when they are broken from past put downs, betrayals, and an unjust system that impacts some of them. While some men are ruled by their dick, for others, philandering is a way of searching for someone who needs them. Infidelity comes from an unmet need. She says she doesn't need money because she's got her own. All she needs is respect. Does this mean she will be willing to accept somebody who is unemployed? I doubt it. What type of men has she been associating herself with? Physical beauty will initially captivate, but it is a generous spirit that will keep and change a man to be everything you want him to be. Men who forget their wife's birthday and anniversary. She was talking about how men forget the birthdays and anniversary, but they remember to go and see their mates. If you've got a man like that and you know he's forgetful, set up a reminder on his phone. It's not deliberate, it's not malicious. And especially nowadays when, we live in such a get things done quickly environment. I mean, if I didn't set out reminders, I wouldn't remember anything. I have to set reminders. I used to be able to remember things all the time, remember birthdays. I mean, I still remember like my daughter's birthdays, stuff like that. But females tend to anyway. That's the maternal instincts. Men, they don't pay much attention to um, dates. And it's not, like I said, malicious. It's just not in their priority, in their psyche as a priority. So, like I said, if it's important to you, rather than nag him about it and have an argument on the anniversary or the birthday, set it up a day before or 2 days before, or if you know he needs to get some money together, a week or a month before, so, and remind him, look, it's my birthday on such and such. Don't forget, please. What else have I got? Nearly finished. So women need to remember that some men need to feel safe to become the partner you want. Many are already insecure. They want to know if there is an ulterior motive. A lot of times, men are, because they're insecure and they see a beautiful woman approach them, they're like, "Oh, what is she after? You know, I don't trust her. What is she?" And they're testing you. You're testing them probably, but they're testing you to see if you're real, to see if you're authentic, to see if you're credible, to see if you just want them for one thing, whatever that thing is. And they're not going to give what you want until you've proved yourself that you are worthy of them. You might not think they're there, but you might not think they're worthy because they haven't got two pennies to rub together. But there is different levels of worth, and not every level is financial and material. So, for those with money or those out to impress, you pay they tend to pay to overcompensate and they need validation through infidelity. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what that means. But anyway, I think I'm not at the risk of repeating myself. It's basically, you know, um, it's not a straightforward situation. There are different reasons why people are single. There are different reasons why women want to be single and some people want to be married. She referred to a marriage where this woman hadn't slept with her husband for 5 years. And that was the premise. She decided that, people who are married, they're not even happy. That's not the case. That's just one circumstance. And a lot of people, they stay married because they've learned to compromise, they've learned to listen, they've learned to support their partners. You cannot be successful in a relationship if it's one-sided, if you're only thinking about yourself. And even though you might think that you're not getting what you want when you want it up front, in time you may get it. You might get it. I know my mother, she married my stepfather, and she said he was horrible when she first met him. She married him because she wanted security, but she said her life was awful. but she persevered. A lot of people, they're not going to persevere. And I'm not even saying that you should. But what I'm trying to say is that through her love, through her consistency, through creating stability, he changed over time. And people do change over time when there is security and stability. Most people, that's all they want. And security and stability comes in different forms. It's not just financial. Sometimes it's mental, it's emotional, it's psychological. But you need to feel safe to give of your best. It's in the hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You need the basics in order to feel safe. And sometimes if you don't have that, regardless of how beautiful you are, regardless of how successful you are, if you can't provide that emotional security and that physical comfort for somebody else, you're not going to get what you want yourself. And that's all I've got to say for now. Bye bye.